Join Bobby for The Takeover every Tuesday night as she tackles tough subjects with her trademark humor and wit. We guarantee you'll be educated, edified, and also entertained. So join us at 8 p.m. every Tuesday night, right here on Trailblazers Radio.
We're living in a different time. Isn't that what the old folks say? Well, I beg to differ, because there really is nothing new under the sun. We used to think that this generation was stronger than that of my parents. But after learning where and whom we come from, I realized that this was a false narrative. They fought, bled, and died for the liberties that we take advantage of today. So I changed my mind. We are our grandparents. We are our parents. This is where the idea for uppity Negro apparel and accessories comes from. We are the uppity Negroes that defied boundaries, broke chains, climbed mountains, and crossed valleys of hatred, bigotry, illiteracy, and oppression. The statement is simple. The cause is never ending. The sound, loud. Say it with me, Kendrick. I am that uppity Negro.
All right. I'm trying to start on time, and because I really wanted to have this discussion, and I tried to study for this particular discussion, and we're talking about strong Black women. That's what we're talking about. The conversation may not be going the direction that you think it's going to go. But this is, I think that the idea and the sentiment of strong Black women has been bastardized and has been, it is now like, it is like a weapon. And I think that a lot of women, Black women, who use this statement are misinformed, and they're giving themselves a type of superhumanness that a lot of white people give Black people, like we're superhuman, like we are beyond emotions, like we are beyond feeling, like we are beyond, like we never get tired, like we. I think that the idea of being a strong Black woman is just not a good, it hasn't been a good mantra for us. It has been taken, and like I said, it's been bastardized. And it gives a false narrative of who we are as women, Black women specifically. So when I tried to study this, it kept trying to get me to go into it kept trying to get me to go into things about being a transgender, things about feminism, things about feminist and all the other stuff. But to me, those are rabbit holes, because I think the feminist movement was meant for white people. They got what they wanted, and they left us behind, period. We even in the gay community, we fought for they fought for rights using civil rights laws, and then when it was over, they went back into their whiteness and left Black folks back where we were. We're always fighting for things in this country. Sorry, no, that's another rabbit hole. So what I wanted to talk about was the fact that biblically, the idea of being this strong Black woman with no emotions, and no a woman who is always in control, always standing up for whatever, but don't have no emotions, and you can't get loud because you don't want to be the angry Black woman, the one who always has manners no matter what. For example, the judge. I had her name written down somewhere. I can't find it. The judge that just got hey, how are you? I ain't got my glasses on, so I can't see. Hey, Simone. Hey. Thank you for joining me, sweetie. Thank you. I think you're gonna like this conversation. I really want your feedback from everybody on this one. So we're talking about the idea, just the idea of being a strong Black woman, and how that has been very detrimental to Black women themselves, because we're being taught that we have to be that kind of woman. So I'm going to get back to that. And so the example I'm using is the judge that just got affirmed to the Supreme Court. They asked her things and said things to her and threw things at her that had nothing to do with her being a judge or anything about her morals or ethics, nothing. And yet she had to sit there and just take it. And that's what she did. She just sat there and took it. She didn't get angry. She couldn't tell them off. She couldn't tell them how stupid the questions were. She could not defend herself in the way that she wanted to, because there's a certain standard that white people have for Black people, especially Black women, that we have to go by. Now, I am personally on a crusade to break that cycle, because I promise you, I don't mind being called an angry Black woman. I don't, because if I'm angry about something, I have every right to be angry. Just like Karen got every right to be angry when she in the grocery store and you in front of her and you ain't moving fast enough. Just like Karen and Ken, when they in my business, they can be as angry as they want to. And yet I have to keep my manners. I have to be quiet. I have to be the one that brings down the situation. You understand? And I'm trying to figure out, why is that? Why is it that we have to keep our composure when everybody else is chaotic in the room? And then once we start going off, all of a sudden we overreacting. And now you're the angry Black woman. And it doesn't take all of that. And it gives and it is the most, it's asinine. And saying I'm a strong Black woman is not what you, first of all, you biblically wrong. Because being a strong Black woman takes away your, let me go to this thing before I get too deep in here, because I did get some notes that I got, but most of them I had to really search for what I was looking for, because it just kept taking me somewhere I didn't want to go. And it's this, whatever algorithm Google is using to when you ask certain questions, I don't like it anymore. So that's that. So anyway, Brown is her last name. I can't pronounce her exactly. Thank you, Simone. So so she sat there and she took all of those questions about children being molested and raped and all of this stuff, and she had to she just had the blank face. You can't we as Black women are not allowed to show any emotion. And it's not fair. It really isn't fair. So 1 second, I think I need to plug up my computer. I didn't realize I thought it was full. Give me 2 seconds, and I'll be right back. Let me put this right here on. By the time I show you this, I'll be back, because I gotta get my plug.
Join Bobby for the takeover every Tuesday night as she tackles tough subjects with her trademark humor and wit. We guarantee you'll be educated, edified, and also entertained. So join us at 8 p.m. every Tuesday night, right here on Trailblazers Radio.
All right, we're back. And I have to make a notation about that announcement. Of course, now you know that that my show is not on at 8 o'clock. We changed it to 7 because I thought maybe it was just was a little too late for some people. And I do think I have more people coming on. There it goes. I have more people coming on at 7 than when I had it at 8. And so I'm very happy about that. So, um, that's her name, Katanji. I don't know. I know. I thought it was a beautiful name though. So I did get some notes, but I think I really want to go pretty much off the cuff here with some of this. So um, one of the sites I was on was there's a Dr. Allen. I'll give you her whole name in a little bit. And she said the strong black woman is a mantra for so much a part of U.S. culture that it is seldom realized how great a toll it has taken on the emotional well-being of the African American woman. As much as it may give her the illusion of control, it keeps her from identifying what she needs and reaching out for help. And that is the big issue with being the strong black woman, because as the strong black woman, you can't ask for help. You so strong that you don't need no help. And God forbid somebody say you need a man, because now we in the argument of a lifetime. And so this idea that we have to be the strong black woman, and we have to be emotionalists, and we have to be in control of ourselves at all times, and we have to make sure that even in doing that, we have to make sure that we take care of everybody else, and not necessarily your children, because even on the job, black women are looked to as caretakers. You may not think so, but have a potluck. Seriously. On your job, have a potluck. Have a potluck. Or start a conversation about child rearing. Or talk about cooking food that's not, that is soul food or whatever. Talk about things that white people think that we do in the African American community, and all of a sudden, the black woman is the expert. And she can't get angry. She can't get upset. She can't raise her voice. She can't do any of that. Because what it does, because you're supposed to be the strong black woman, so what it does is it makes you human. Plain and simple. Because that's what they try to do. Being the strong black woman takes away your humanness. It takes away your vulnerability. It takes away your softness. It takes away all of that. And now you 2 steps from being a dude. You do 2 steps from being a dude. Because men are the ones that are the ones that are supposed to be, staunch and stoic, and they're supposed to not talk about their feelings and all of that other stuff. But as a strong black woman, you're supposed to be the same exact way. And so it takes away your femininity, which is what white women have been trying to do since they saw the big booty and the breast and the softness. Because I promise you, the women that they say are the most beautiful women in the world and all of this other stuff, from the back they all look like Justin Bieber. You can debate me on it. I don't care. I think that white men are ingrained to be pedophiles, and ingrained to be in love with their relatives. And we can argue about it or whatever, but look at the women they say are beautiful. They look like children. They have very small breasts, no hips, and they just straight up and down. And from the back, they all look like Justin Bieber when he had long hair. I'm just stating facts. These are the women they find beautiful. Most white men. But their lust for something different is in us, because we set the beauty standard. And if you think I'm lying about setting the beauty standard, look at them Kardashian heifers. So we set the standard. However, in order to please Karen and the white women in their lives, they choose the one that with no fat on their body and so far from looking like us, just to please them. But if that's what they really wanted, then nobody wouldn't have been out at the barn on the plantation, and you got 3 little light-skinned children running around here. That's all I'm saying. And so We're talking about being the strong black woman, which means that we don't break, we don't crack. Our children die and we just keep on going. Our husbands are being lynched and we just keep on going. Because to them, we don't have no feelings. How could you keep going after that? You know, my cousin killed herself after her because she wasn't strong. How can you? So it's this thing they have that we have this superhuman power. And the only superhuman power that we have is prayer and faith that God is going to turn this thing around. And yet we perpetuate this idea that we are strong black women. And when you say that, it sounds really great. It really does. But when you have to live it, you are messing with your mental health. You're messing with your physical health, because holding all of that stuff in is what's making you sick. Okay. So I'm sorry, but heifer is what came out. Y'all know I'm trying to stop cursing. So Simone, here we go. So I'm reading off of this here from a young doctor, and her name is, she did a study, and her last name is Allen. But I'm first reading from an article by a young lady named Kara Manke. It's Karamanke. And she wrote this December 5th in 2019. And I just thought it was interesting how she talked about the emergence of the strong black woman. She says the emergence of the strong black woman schema can be attributed to several factors. Origins of the SBW schema date back to slavery. The portrayal of African American women as physically and psychologically stronger compared to European American women and equal. Wait a minute. Compared to European American women and equal to African American men. See what I'm saying? Enabled European Americans to justify their enslavement and inhuman treatment. African American enslaved women, in turn, socialized African American girls to be strong, to prepare them for the often brutal and violent life on the plantation. Prior to and post enslavement, the systematic oppressions against African American women and their families limited their access to resources and contributed to the need for these women to be strong. Over the last decade, with a large percentage of African American households headed by a single mother and African American men being incarcerated at a high rate, many African American women are forced to assume the roles of financial provider, caregiver, and community agent. And being this strong black woman, it takes away all of your feminine. It takes away all your femininity. It takes away the fact that you're supposed to be soft and you're supposed to be nurturing. And listen. And I'm gonna say it like this because I'm trying to be diplomatic. Let me say it like this. I don't want to be with. I want to be equal when it comes down to my pay at work. But I'll tell you this: I want you to open my door for me. I want you to hold an umbrella for me. I want you to come in and pay the bills. I want you to be the head of the household. That is what I want, because that is biblically sound. Now, you can say that the Bible is and all that, and it was written by men. You can say all that stuff all you want to. But if you biologically, men are just stronger than women, and you can get all the muscles you want. You can lift all the weights you want to lift and have yourself looking like a dude. All you want to. Men are physically stronger than women. This is that way because they're hunters and gatherers. We're softer. We're softer because we're the nurturers. We don't want to hold you. We talked about this last week. We don't want to hold you in our laps. We are the comforters. But it's hard to be a comforter when, like the article said, when our men are being not just incarcerated, but literally hunted down and killed. And so now you got to be mama and daddy. And then on Father's Day, you got these crazy heifers on online talking about, I need a Father's Day gift, and you the mama. No, boo, you still the mama. Here's Robert. Robert probably got to tear everything I said up. Let me see. Robert says strength can be feminine. I disagree that strength takes away femininity. That's not what I said. That's not what I meant. You're making some broad generalizations, ma'am. I always do. I always do. I'm not saying that being strong is taking away. I'm not saying that, because we are strong. What I'm saying is that the idea of saying that that I am a strong Black woman has taken on a very negative connotation. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that being a strong Black woman gives, especially white people, but it gives our daughters and our nieces and all our other young women this idea that you have to be strong. You cannot break. You can't cry. You can't act like you need a man. You can't act like you need anybody. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the strength that we have, because we have it. We have the strength to carry families, to carry the men sometimes in our lives, and to make sure that everything I'm not talking about that kind of strength. I'm talking about the idea that saying that we are strong Black women has taken on a very negative connotation. And it really has, because we're teaching our daughters they don't need no man. We're teaching our daughters that they don't need anybody. They don't have to ask for no help. My circle is small, and I'm gonna keep it small. And I think it's a mistake. I think it's a mistake. I think that it takes away. I think that particular saying puts the idea in people's heads that we are unbreakable. And we, as Black women, we perpetuate that idea by not asking for help, by saying that I'm the mama and the daddy, by saying I don't need no man, by saying I don't need nobody except me and mine. And then we get into, just like I used that judge, Judge Brown, who just got it. She sat there and took those questions and all of that, and she couldn't show no anger. Why? Why she couldn't show her feelings? You know why? Because of that same strong Black woman crap. We have to conduct ourselves in a certain way so that we don't offend either white people or whatever man you got, because I think men who can't handle a woman upset is weak. But that might be another broad generalization. So I got to put my glasses on so I can see. No, I don't think they're two different arguments. I think that I don't think that what me and Simone are talking about are two different arguments. It's the same thing. I'm not sure what definition of strength you're using, Rob. I really don't. I'm lost, because I don't understand why you not understanding what we're trying to say. And maybe I'm saying it wrong. But I can't think. I have to figure out another way to say it, because that's not what I mean. It's not two different conversations. I'm not saying that because you're a strong Black woman that you're not feminine. What I'm saying is that particular statement is being used as some kind of banner of how you're supposed to be as a woman, as a Black woman. And I think that when you keep saying I'm a strong Black woman, people expect you to act and be a certain way. And they expect you, in the time of somebody yelling and screaming in your face, you have to be the one to stay calm. You have to be the one to make sure that you don't get out of hand. You have to make sure you don't start doing this. You can't do any of that. Because if you do, now you're not just a strong Black woman, you're an angry Black woman. And it don't take all of that. And I think that the separation of how white women can express themselves and the way that Black women can express themselves is It's, first of all, it's wrong, and but it's always been there. A white woman cry, even black people run to their rescue, because I've seen it. A black woman cries, and you might get somebody to ask you what's up. But you very rarely see black women cry in public. They might start yelling and ranting and raving or whatever. But it is the idea of being this strong black woman that has turned off her emotions and have to hold everything in. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm talking about the mental and psychological stress that it puts on black women when they have to be the strong black woman all the time. Because showing any kind of vulnerability to most people, especially black people, is weakness. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the strength that we know we're strong. We know we can endure because we're doing it. We have been. But I'm talking about this idea of women having to get up in the morning and put on this armor and put on this mask to get ready to go out to the day because they know they're going to be hit with some bullshit. Most of it racist. And so we got to put on this armor of this strong black woman, and we got to tell ourselves, listen, they said to you today, don't say nothing. If she come at you today, just smile and keep. But that's my question. Why can't I show how I feel about whatever's going on? That's the question. How is that? Why is it weakness in me to tell you how I feel? But in a white woman, it's not that. It's just she's strong and independent. But you never hear anybody say, oh, she's a strong white woman. You know why? Because it is supposed to be already known that the white woman is strong. But we have to announce it on our behalf. Y'all writing? I'm sorry. I don't want this to be a lecture. Simone says, because it's declared that we women are strong black women, we literally have to act accordingly. Exactly. So Robert's saying, I get the dilemma of the strong black woman trope, but I don't see how femininity is undermined. Is femininity vulnerable to your definition? I don't know, Rob. I think that word femininity kept coming into my head because every time I tried to look up the detriment, how detrimental the strong black woman little trope, you saw the try, I like that word, was for black women. It kept going into transgenders and homosexuality and all of this other stuff, and it kept going into feminism, and I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole because that was a lot. And I think that's why I keep saying that. And I don't think I mean it. I don't think I mean it in the way that is coming out. I love Robert. He makes my notes just don't mean crap when he come on here. I really think that the idea of being just the people saying it and black women saying it with such fervor, like it's great. I really think that because we say that and because we parade that out all the time, that we do have to act accordingly, like Simone said. And in that definition of being a strong black woman, we cannot show emotion. We cannot be who we really are. Most people don't know who on your job, on a black woman's job, most people don't know who she really is because of the armor and the mask that she has to wear. And that's where my issue is coming in. So maybe I shouldn't use the word feminine, because what my issue is the mental breakdown and the psychological warfare that we have to go through in order to get out and go to work in the morning. That's where my problem is coming in. And when I say femininity, I think that it in a very, and you say I'm broad because I am, in a very broad sense, it does take away that thing that women have, that vulnerability that women have, that kind of softness that we have, because to mask yourself and not show any emotion, we emotional people, but to cover that up under the guise of the armor that we wear and whatever, I think it is a kind of like it's more of a masculine thing than a feminine thing. You don't think so? You've embraced uppity. Some embrace strong black woman as a defense mechanism. I never thought of uppity as a defense mechanism. I have to think about that, because you might be right. You might be, instead of saying strong black woman, but you might be right. But see, uppity, the difference between my embracing of uppity and the idea of the strong black woman is that uppity lets everything out. Uppity don't have no mask. When I'm uppity, when uppity Negro decides to show, and I don't call it uppity Negro, that's Bobby. When Bobby shows up, there's no filter. There's no filter. There's no mask. There's no armor. There's nothing. But on the other side of that, the strong black woman, there's silence. You can't yell and scream in public. You can't. They call it security. So I think that there's a difference, but I do understand the parallel. I understand the reference, and I really got to think about that, because I never thought of uppity as a defense mechanism. I thought of uppity as another side of me in defense of that of the little girl in me. That's a whole nother show. Man, I love Robert. Robert Mickey. I'm gonna have to write that down so I can remember, because I never thought of it like that. So it doesn't allow some folks to show emotion and vulnerability. I don't think that. I think that when black women say, "I'm a strong black woman," it kind of erases the emotions and vulnerability in women, because we're emotional. But when you got to cover that up, then that's not you as a woman, because we are emotional people. Uppity was used to describe us when we showed intelligence and pride. Well, yeah. No, not as a woman. We have to keep pushing even when we're hurting. Exactly. And people expect us to keep on going no matter what happened. You especially back in during slave time, you get raped, you go back in the field, you keep finish doing what you've been doing. You pop a baby out, you go back out in the field, and you keep on doing what you're doing. And it's almost the same thing here. Your son get killed or whatever, and when you coming back to work, or your child get killed or whatever, and when you gonna stop wearing that T-shirt, and I would rather be an uppity Negro than to be labeled as a strong black woman. Because as a strong black woman, in the mind, I'm just talking about the black women that I talked to just today. I was just asking random black folk, random black women. In their minds, being a strong black woman to them had nothing. None of them ever said anything about being independent. All they said was, being a strong black woman is making sure that your family and your children were all right. Being a strong black woman was making sure you went out and got the bag. Being a strong black woman, none of them said anything about that, about any of the other stuff. But going to get the bag and making sure your children all right and all this stuff, it sounds like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Sounds like it's just a dude. Because what happened to where's the nourishing part of it? Where's the soft woman? Where's the just being a woman part of it? Where's the mama part? And to me, I think that's what I think being feminine is all about, is that soft, emotional, your child bring home a report card that's good and they jump and you jumping up and down instead of just saying, oh, okay, you did a good job. Go ahead to your room and finish doing whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Hold on a second. Right. Very little sympathy for the tears of Black women. You lose people around you and go out for surgery, and the next day they're calling you. Yes. Yeah. And then this is the thing too, because now I feel I done got this out. Now I gotta be transparent. And I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of trying to be strong. Cause I'm back doing something I ain't got no business doing. And that's that's driving the truck. I'm driving the truck. I'm back in the truck. And pulling that landing gear down. And I can't even open the doors of the truck, of the containers. I have to get other drivers to help me. By the time I put my landing gear down, I got to rest for 20 minutes because my heart beating so fast. And I'm exhausted. And if I didn't have the show tonight, usually when I get home, I barely get enough strength to lay on the bed. And I do that because I have to. I have to. Because I am the one who is always there for other people. Always. And so because I always look like I got it together, because this is just stating fact. Because when I walk out my door, I'm put together. You feel me? I'm dressed, my eyes on, they got my eyes in, they got my lashes on, got my ear. I don't walk out of here in my pajamas. I don't walk out of here in slippers. I walk out of here like I'm going somewhere, and I could be dog dead tired. But why do I have to do that? Where did I get that from? I learned it from my mama. And she probably learned it from hers. Always put your best face forward. Don't ever let nobody see you slipping. But what if they see me slipping, how bad could it be? If I took off all the armor and I just walked out and just stood out there and said, I need somebody to help me, would the world end? I don't know. But I'll tell you this, I don't want to find out. And because people see me as the strong Black woman, nobody asks me if I need anything. Nobody asks me if I have gas. Nobody asks me if I ate today. Only person that calls me is my boyfriend. And then my apostle from church will call me. But nobody asked me, do I have gas money? Nobody brought, I've been, all last year I was down. Nobody brought me no groceries. And I'm not saying this as no sad, but it's facts as facts. I asked for money 2 or 3 times on GoFundMe and never got more than $100 and something. That's only on one, because the other 2, I never got anything. And so when it came time to have to pay these bills here and move out on my own, I had to do what I had to do because the other job wasn't doing it. And so the crying part for me with that is over, because now I'm doing what I need to do to survive. And it's not because I think of myself as a strong Black woman. I think of myself as I don't want to be homeless and sleeping in my car. So I would rather be an uppity Negro than to be a strong Black woman. Because as an uppity Negro, as Robert said, there's no filter. I say what I want to say, how I want to say it, and do what I want to do. You know why? Because I don't owe nobody nothing. And I do, and just to go off point a minute, I just believe this is how God wants it. I don't owe nobody nothing. Can't nobody say if it wasn't for me, she wouldn't. You can't say that. Because if I have to crawl, listen, let me read what Simone got to say, and I'm gonna tell you about how my mornings go. Yeah, that's how. Yeah, your job will say. Yeah, your job will say. They're sorry or whatever. But you're the strong black woman. They didn't never see you cry. They ain't never seen you upset. Your armor is strong, honey. And because they never see you upset, they never see you cry. They never see you vulnerable and being feminine and being soft. Because they've never seen that. Then of course they think you're superhuman. This is a stigma not just on black women, but it's on black men too. Go sit in a trial or a murder case or something like that, and a black man or a black child is on trial. You'll hear words like superhuman or stronger than most men, because it's just something that is used to take our humanity away. And that's all I'm trying to say with this strong black woman thing. Don't let the idea of being the strong black woman take away who you are as a woman. An emotional, soft, vulnerable creature made from God. Because sometimes your children need you to cry with them. Sometimes your husband needs you to soften up a little bit, so that he can open up to whatever he wants to open up with. But if you just as strong-minded and solid and no emotional as he is, then where is the counterbalance? Where's the balance at? Right, Simone? I agree. But I do have to really think very hard about what Robert said. And did I use uppity Negro in the same vein as the strong black woman? I don't think so, because the uppity Negro character of who I am, the Bobby side of me, is uppity show enough. She don't have a filter. She just really don't care what come out of her mouth most of the time. And so I hold very tightly to the Bobby side of me, and she only I only let her surface when I need her, when I need that voice. I think that the idea, just the idea of where the strong black woman idea is going is just biblically not sound. And I say that because he already told us what kind of woman he wanted us to be. And it's what is it? Proverbs 3:31. It's the virtuous woman who can find. She surfaces as a defense mechanism. Yes, Robert, she does. But sometimes but not all the time. The majority, I would say 95% of the time, Bobby surfaces as a defense mechanism to keep me from crying, to keep me from being too soft. And so I think that's your point. I think that I just made your point. So Rob, I think you're right. Yeah, Bobby was created out of a lot of pain and anger, but she was also created. Yeah, that's it. You're right. Exactly. And you're right, Rob. You're actually right. She was created after the last time a man put his hand on me to beat me up. And she was created because that was my last time. That was it. I'm not doing it no more. That was it. And when I came to myself, Bobby was there. And you're absolutely right. But Rob, how do you think? How is that? how is that? Is it the same thing as being the strong black woman? Because I don't think so. The strong black woman you think that's you? Do you think that the strong black woman trope, as you call it, is that a defense mechanism? Or is it a coping mechanism? Because I think there's a difference. I think there's a difference between Bobby, who comes in to my defense, and then I think that the strong black woman trope, I'm gonna keep on using that word because I really like it, is more of a coping thing. You think it's similar? Maybe on a very basic level, maybe, but I don't. We have to agree to disagree because I think they're further apart than you think. Because coping and being and something being something coming to your defense to me is different. Because I don't cope with people coming at me all kind of way. I defend myself. I have to, it's going to have to be one for next week too. Because Robert done make me have to redo my notes. Because I understand where you're coming from. But my thoughts were somewhere else on this whole thing. Because coping with something and defending yourself to me is not similar at all. Are you sure that's not your way of coping by being a badass? No. I think and thank you for the offhanded compliment because I did not think of myself as a badass, especially with these glasses on. But I'm going to take that as a compliment, and you cannot take it back because it's already written and it's not coming off. I don't think no, because usually after I defend myself, I usually am the same person that goes back and apologizes after I done hurt somebody's feelings. Because once Bobby get going, I really cannot stop her. And so I usually end up having to go back and apologize. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Or I feel really bad about what I said because what I said, words are my thing. And you can't take back stuff that you say. And I can say some really hurtful stuff to people, and I can't take it back. But I don't think that Bobby is how I cope at all. Because if Bobby was how I coped, I would not have been suicidal 2 weeks ago. You feel me? Like, just out of transparency. If Bobby was what I used to cope with the bullshit I think that's going on in my life right now, and I don't think that I would have been suicidal 2 weeks ago. And I was literally writing suicide notes like I was in high school. I had to yank myself out of that, and that wasn't Bobby. Because Bobby was nowhere to be found. Bobby defends me against other people. She does not defend me against my mental bullshit. No, I think that she's not as permanent as the SBW, but I think that you know what? I think that Bobby is different because Bobby was not taught. I think the idea of SBW is something that we're teaching our daughters. I think that it is something that we even teach ourselves. We teach ourselves. We practice, and we get ourselves together with the armor. We put on the makeup and the right clothes and the right to fit into this idea that we are stoic and we are dependable. And hell, we are Buick. I don't know. We have to make it so that's the word. Thank you. That's it. It's SBW is a socialization, exactly. And I think that Bobby is not that. Barbie, I wasn't taught that. That is just a persona that I use to justify the meanness that comes out of my mouth. Because I don't, as Barbara, I don't want to be that mean person. So I just call it Bobby and let that other thing take the blame for it. Yes, Bobby was born out of necessity. Bobby was born because I could not find another way to not be that vulnerable 5-year-old. And Simone, I think a lot of people have, and I think that people just do not admit. This is one reason I have this show, because people refuse to be transparent. People refuse to just tell the truth. Tell the truth. You're not great all the time. You don't wake up every morning with your mind stayed on Jesus. I don't go to bed every night. I don't pray like I'm supposed to pray. I don't read the Bible like I'm supposed to. I don't call my mentor when I need to call. I don't do the things that I need to do that are necessary in my life to do. I'm not perfect. And this idea of perfection is another thing about this strong black woman thing. Everything got to be perfect. Don't you tell nobody what's going on in this house. We going to the cookout. Just don't go in that back room with your Uncle Bubby. It is something, that strong black woman thing, just so that you can get ready for the day, is craziness. The only thing you should be doing to get ready for the day is praying, making sure you look the way you want to look, and you walking out the door. Not sitting there trying to figure out how I'm going to harden my heart just in case Karen decides she want to talk about the fact that she don't think that talking about watermelon is racist. We have to be strong in situations where everybody else can be weak. And that is the issue that I have with that. It takes a mental, it takes an emotional, and it takes a psychological toll on black women. And then once your mind is all screwed up, then all of a sudden your body is not too far behind. That is what brings on sickness. Worrying about if you're going to crack that day. I used to be just like that. Is this going to be the day they're going to say the wrong thing to me and I'm just going to crack? And you walk around on eggshells in your own world, worrying about what people are going to think if you say the wrong thing. What would happen if you told whoever, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk to you. I don't like you. I come to work. I don't need no friends. Would the world end? And if you think I never did it, you're wrong, because I'll tell you in a minute. I don't want to talk to you. I don't like you. And I just come to work. I don't need no new friends. And I've done it several times. The world didn't end. They left me alone. But their world might have ended, but not mine didn't. What would happen if we were who we really want? What would happen if we were really us? If we didn't have a mask on, if we just went out into the world and we were us, are vulnerable. I'm talking about men and women too at this point, Rob. I'm serious. Because you have men that do the same thing. They have to go on their job and they have to smile at these people when they hate being there. Or they have to smile at these people, and these people are morons. And I know, Rob, you are one of the most intelligent people I have ever met in my life. If I could study and know things the way you did and remember it, I would. I just don't have I run out of patience. But the things that you know blow my mind. And I know you work with people who you talking to them and you thinking, oh my God, what if I just said what I wanted to say? But how would the world end? Would it be that bad to be you? Yeah, everybody, yeah, they would be scared, but that fear wouldn't last long. And then you would know what you see. My thing is, I'm gonna tell you the truth, because I need you to know what you're dealing with. Because my thing is, you need to give warning before the storm. Warning comes before destruction. Let me let you know what you're dealing with, so that you won't even walk into the storm that you might walk into if you come at me or somebody else like me with the foolishness. So that's my thing. I tell people straight up whenever they decide they want to be my friend, I give them the rules. And you don't follow the rules, then oh well, that's on you. Let's acknowledge the class race aspect of where these topics originated. Right, right, Robert. I had see, but I'm scared to use my notes now because you done got me thinking my notes ain't right. So there was a study done by a Dr. Allen, and I hope y'all can still see me, but I think y'all can, even though my thing is in the way. So she says that the identity of being a strong Black woman can both help and it hurt, but I think it hurts more. But she says that it can both help and hurt Black women. See, because being a superwoman could help African American women cope with racial discrimination, but it has a lot of drawbacks. The stereotype, she says, the stereotype of the strong Black woman is more than just a cultural trope. That with that word, Robert, many Black women in America report feeling pressured to act like superwomen, projecting themselves as strong, self-sacrificing, and free of emotion to cope with the stress of race and gender-based discrimination in their daily lives. And she says what they are really describing was this idea of being a strong Black woman and feeling the need to prepare for the racial discrimination that they expect every time they walk out the house. And so I did have some notes that went back, and they talked about the idea of women, slave women, and this idea of being the strong Black woman. And so here's she says that she remembers talking about being strong Black women and describing it both as a kind of armor, but also potentially as a liability. For example, what does it mean to continue to have an intense motivation to succeed while you're also experiencing barriers to achieving that success? So I wanted to know, is being a strong Black woman helpful or harmful to the health? And that's why she did her study. But I think that the idea of being a strong Black woman is started on the plantation. I think that it is one of the things, is one of the it was one of the things that they were trying to beat out of us. But I think those Black mothers and guardians and grandparents pressed into those children's heads, so that it's still going on into this generation, that we had to be strong no matter what they said, no matter how they said it, no matter how they treated us. We had to be strong and silent. That is my issue, the strong and silent crap. Black women have a double whammy to deal with. Yeah, that is very true. Black women face sexism at home and at work on time. Yeah, at home. Yeah, I agree. Now that I do agree with. That I agree with. I agree. There's no argument. I can't fault that, because they do. Because we wear the armor at work, and then if we come home to unhappiness, or somebody that's domineering, or someone that is abusive, then we never actually get to take it off. We never actually get to be our real selves. Man, that's sad. Oh my gosh. To live your entire life as somebody else is the saddest thing. I think it's sad. Because at work you're one way, and at home you still got to be another way. And so how do we break this cycle? If it's been going on so long, how do we break that? How do we break this cycle and still yet groom our children to be strong? How can our girls be strong and all of that? I'm bringing you in, baby. How can our girls be strong and still be, and I can't help but use this word, Rob, and still be feminine and soft uh vulnerable? Because that's, as women, that's what we are. We are the ones that teach our children about what their emotions, what, the emotions they're going through. But if you got on this armor and this rock hard thing, then where do they get those things from? Is this why these children act so inappropriately and don't know which emotion to use for which thing? What you are shouldn't be a point. Exactly, Quint. I don't, man, Robert, every time you come on here, you just, oh, because now it's going, I mean, it's still going the same way I wanted it to, but you got me thinking about this coping thing. We cope the way I think that sometimes we try to cope with things when we should be defending them. Am I saying that right? Am I saying that right? Um, because we cope with a lot of stuff. We cope with the Karen on the job. We cope with the husband that's overbearing or abusive, or now we cope with that. But why wouldn't it be better if we came to the defense of those things? What if we all just turned into uppity Negroes at that point and just defended that thing, defended ourselves instead of coping with Karen? We're gonna come to our own defense, and we're gonna put Karen in her place, and she won't do this again. Or we come to the defense of ourselves with our spouses by leaving or trying to work it out another way. How do we? Because my mama never, and I think that's a difference between me and probably millions of other women. My mom never told me or tried to teach me about being a strong Black woman. And in her defense, I believe is what I had talked about before. My mom was broken. Something broke her, and it made her into this very closed, emotional, almost emotionalist person toward her children, toward her older children. And I think it changed with my sister, because she was actually with my sister's father. But that's a rabbit hole. But what I'm trying to say is, she never told me, right, Robert, there are, and I'm trying to get through at least the first two, because you done messed me up. I thought I was doing something. I feel so intelligent until I start talking to your ass. Man, okay, whatever. So, Coco, whatever. So, I feel real smart to Robert get on here and bring me something. And now I got to go back to my notes and find something else to study, because I know nothing. I don't know nothing now. So, but I love him for that, because they make it because it's not only a generational curse, this idea of being a woman that does not show emotion, that has to, whatever happens, you won't get through it without getting angry or walking out or stomping out the room. So how do we break that cycle though, and still yet be strong in the right way? You know what I'm saying? Because me crying or screaming or yelling or defending myself is not me not being a strong Black woman. It's just me being a woman, period. I'm emotional. This is what we do. And why is it, and that's the other thing, why is it acceptable for white women to yell and scream and all that? And when we do it, all of a sudden, the police being called. Because it don't take all that. I think about yesterday when I watched Kakoa on her live yesterday. I think that she's a strong black woman, but not in the sense of what we're talking about right now. And the reason I think that is because she was strong enough to open herself. That's it. How do we teach people to be strong enough to open up and be vulnerable enough to let other people come in? Because the idea of the strong black woman in the sense of what society has made it to be, because I think it's just been bastardized. I just think they just then turned it into something just awful. But how do we get women to understand that the more you open up and let people come into that, the more help you'll get? And see, this is the other thing, because nobody wants to say I need help. Because for some reason, asking for help is a weakness. And I don't understand that, because when I bet you Peter didn't think he was weak when he told Jesus, listen, bruh, I took my eyes off the prize. Could you get me now? How? I don't understand when help became a weakness, when asking for help became a weakness. And I'm very guilty of that. I have just learned how to start asking for help. I'm very guilty of not wanting to ask for help. And it's not because I thought it was a weakness. I didn't ask for help because I didn't think nobody liked or loved me enough to give it to me. And that's my truth. That's my truth. I thought people didn't like me, and people didn't love me, and people didn't really pay me no attention. I was just a piece of furniture in the room. And so I don't need to ask for help. I'll just do it myself. And that way I won't owe nobody. But that mentality is just wrong. It's just wrong. Because if I say that I'm not going to ask for help and I'm not going to do this, then I just called myself a liar. Because did I not say that that is biblically wrong to want to be alone? Because when you don't ask for help, you by yourself. So now I just stepped on my own toes, and now I'm upset. Because I just told my own self off. And you know whose fault it is? Robert Ellington. Because this is not where I was going in my little talk. I had different notes. Robert, you're going to have to text me before you come on here so I can do better. But that's the thing. I am very guilty of that. I am guilty of that, not wanting to ask for help. But in my not asking for help, I am alone. Because I'm not opening up and inviting anybody in. Coco invited people in to her experience of what she had experienced in a private moment with God. And opening up that kind of vulnerability to scrutiny, to me, that's strong. To me, that showed her strength. And so that's the question now. Let's go back to the question. Everybody join in with the answer. How do we begin in ourselves to break this cycle of everything all right? You okay?
Well, I mean, if you ask me, it goes back to what I said last night. You have to want to be free. As long as you hold on to that stigmata that hangs over and looms with that situation, particularly, it's not going to change. It's not going to change. And you got to want to be free, and you got to be willing to make a change. And your change always starts with you first. Right, Fred. So Simone, baby, don't your life and your future is not paid by your disability, sweetie. You can always overcome the disability and be who and what you want to be. But you have to push yourself to go past that.
Right.
Don't allow your disability to define you.
I think that I'm trying to get Fred on, but it
He said
won't.
he said he was just in the background.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So being strong, because it sounds like I'm saying that being strong as a woman is a weakness, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to, I can't think of the right way to describe um, us as women, because as Robert so eloquently put it, it's so many layers to what women have to, what the things that we have to do in the course of a day, the emotions that we run through, the thoughts that we have. Listen, not discounting the what men have to go through, especially black men. We're not discounting that at all. But let's be truthful and real here, because most, not all, men's day ends when they get home from work. Women are usually the last ones to go to bed, because we're preparing for whatever. We're preparing for the next day. We got dinner. We our mind is always, we always multitasking. Um, and like I said, I'm not taking anything away from black men and what men. I'm not taking anything. I'm telling you what I know, because I'm a woman, and I don't know all the ins and outs of what men are thinking and what I don't know. To tell you the truth, I just don't know. But I know what we go through, and I know that when I was married, I was always the last one to go to bed. Because even after he would lock the window, he was just one of those people that would walk around and lock the stuff up. Even after that, I'm still thinking, what, is his clothes ready and all this other stuff. I don't know if it's sexism at home, but I was very, I am the kind of wife or girlfriend that is very in tune and very, leave it to beaverish. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm very old fashioned in how I do things. My ex husband, if I could get him on, he would tell you, he didn't have to do anything but pay the bills and take the trash out, because I would have done everything else. I ironed his clothes. I ran his bath water and put the towel on the side. I did all of that. I fixed his food. I lotioned him when he came out the bed. That's me. I just am. He paid the bills, and I treated him like he paid the bills. I think that's what I treated him like the head of my house. And it was not something that I was forced to do. It's nothing that we ever discussed. It is just, when I love somebody, I treat them the way I want to be treated. I tell my boyfriend now, I am trying to show you how to treat me. So that was a rabbit hole. So how do we begin to not say, as soon as somebody say, how you doing, how do we begin to not say the first thing that comes to our mind, which is what our mama told, I'm all right? How do we do that? How do
I mean,
we how do we how do we become the true us? Because I don't
well,
know.
for me, I feel like when it comes down to that, especially that I'm used to speaking my mind,
Right.
but in certain situations and circumstances, you have to think about what you are about to say before you say it, because you don't know what the outcome will lead to when you actually say it. So you have to think about that, right? I don't know where she went, y'all. I promise y'all she'll be back. Um, but yeah, I think that that's pretty much how that has to go down. Because I mean, if you always say the first thing that pops in your brain, you won't get very far.
Everybody.
You know. Um,
Yeah, I'm sorry. My thing went off. Did y'all didn't see me? I lost everybody.
yeah, I saw it. I said I'm sorry. I said she'll be back, y'all.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm sorry. I don't know
But
what's
I
going
think
on.
that
But go ahead.
that's one of the biggest things is you have to think about the outcome of what you're going to say before you say it. In certain situations and circumstances, you cannot say the first thing that comes to your head because the outcome may be bad
Mm-hmm.
depending on where you are. It may cost you a job, it may cost you a relationship, it may cost you a promotion. Some things, if you say it in the wrong places, it could even get you sent to jail, depending on what you say.
Oh,
So you have to be careful with what you say and when you say it sometimes. So you have to think about the outcome before you say it. And everything don't deserve a response.
Robert hit on. I like that. He said by just letting black girls know it's okay to ask for help, and I love the and therapy. Now that word in the black community is you that's a
Right.
hard word for people to get around. We still having trouble with that. I totally believe in therapy.
Right.
I yeah but saying therapy to some people, I ain't talking to no stranger. Well, you talking to people you know it ain't helping, so you might as well try that. Um, Women tend to be better wired for multitasking, but sometimes women are constantly living in survival mode. Is the man Robert? Oh my God! Exactly, exactly. We are so busy trying to cope and survive that we forget to live. Oh,
So the problem is we were made to be carriers, right? The biggest issue with us as women is we were made to be carriers.
right.
But the problem
Oh,
is
y'all preaching on here
we
tonight.
don't right, we don't know how to put stuff down.
No,
We when
no.
we pick it up, we continue to carry it. Instead of putting it down, we keep
Yes.
carrying it. And that's half of the problem.
Wow. Oh, y'all preaching it tonight.
She's coming back in, y'all. Y'all can keep talking in the chat though, even though we're waiting on her. I hope that everybody that is currently watching is having a great night. Thank you guys for coming on and supporting her. Please like, share, and comment. Looks like she's having some internet issues. And for those of you that are on the YouTubes, please like and subscribe. Thank you.
Um,
She's back, y'all.
I'm back, kinda. I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the devil going on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, y'all. But please like and share. Yes, thank you, y'all. Like and share, please. I know I'm supposed to say that. Simone, I'm trying to come back. Um, I know that I'm supposed to say that all the time, but I don't think I'm. Sometimes I just don't remember because I get all caught up in this. But
Love you too, Simone. And Robert talking about free Bobby.
shut up, because you probably the one got me up my brain all lock up because I have my notes. You done messed me up, got me all over the place. Now I got to redo my notes and do this again another time. So
You can still go with your notes.
my notes have nothing to do with what we're talking about right now.
Okay.
I was supposed to be talking about the virtuous woman, but I can't talk about a virtuous woman because most of the women that we know need therapy. And that's because of what Robert said. We are, and not the reason I'm freaking out about it is because I'm guilty of that even now. Because I'm so busy trying to cope and make sure that I have a roof over my head and all that I don't even do the things that I enjoy anymore.
No, you still
I'm
gotta do
not
that.
living I'm not living. I'm so busy thinking if I do that, then I won't have that. If I do this, then I won't. And so yeah, dang,
Yeah, you,
that's serious deepness.
yeah, you still gotta do that regardless. I mean, at the end of the day, you still have to do that. You have to do what we call a fun day for yourself
Yeah,
or outing for yourself. I do it all the time.
yeah, but it just when it comes to it I think it has just gotten to a point with me. I'm talking about me. It has gotten to a point where I have been telling myself I just want to live.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And but I just want to live, but I want to enjoy the living of it because I'm not enjoying it right now. I have these fears of, every time I get a new ache or a new twinge or something, the first thing that pops into your head, my head, is cancer. I'm trying, and that's what I'm coping with because I don't have no defense for it. And then that's a lie because my defense should be the word. But I don't have that. I don't have that um, thought every time. You feel me? Like I don't have a scripture that I can pull out every time I begin to there's a commercial that comes on YouTube when I'm watching my little videos, and there's a little girl and she said the most profound, she says the worst thing about having cancer is just knowing that you have it. And I think that is the worst thing about and it doesn't have to be cancer. Because the worst thing about knowing that your husband is a abusing jackass is that the fact that you know it. It ain't the worst thing, ain't it? The worst thing is that you know it, and we still. The worst thing to know is that your child is a liar and a thief, and the worst thing about it is, you know it.
Yeah, but
And so
the
GI
problem is just
when
you
GI
know.
Joe said, knowing is half the battle. No, knowing is all of it.
But that's not
Knowing,
the only problem. The biggest problem is the fact that you won't change it.
thank you. But see, if that's the case, then how do you change something that you can't see or fight?
I mean, it's just like, okay, so think about what you just said. How do you change what you can't see or fight? Now, if you took somebody to the word, what scripture would you use? You would talk to somebody about activating their faith, right?
Right. Oh,
Okay.
don't come for me, Coco, because I know what you're doing. You and
but
Robert,
I'm
no,
saying
because you and Robert, don't play with me. I am not crying on this thing here tonight. So whatever you and
you ain't
Robert,
gotta cry.
whatever you
I'm
and
not trying
Robert
to get you to cry.
whatever
What
you
I'm
and Robert
saying,
planned earlier is not gonna work.
but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is how you change what you can't see. Is
You telling me
that's
to
what you
take
gotta do.
you telling me to take my words that I give other people and apply it to my own life. I know what you're saying. You and Robert, both of y'all can jump off a very short cliff.
What was that?
This is I understand that this show is called The Takeover, but what you and Robert not gonna do?
A short clip, huh?
Fred, if you don't, you better be coming to my defense because I'm not in the mood for her. How you block Robert off of here?
I ain't com- I ain't coming to nobody's defense. Not today.
You know
But
what?
I did want to throw a thought out here though.
Okay, yes, sir.
And it was something that Simone said earlier about a disability
Mm-hmm.
or lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes we allow or lack of or a disability or a lack of an ability to hinder us and hamper us.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think we allow the words I can't to permeate into our being, permeate into our being, and
Mm-hmm.
allow us to be in that defeatist and despondent attitude. Not gonna lie, that was me a couple days ago. Still, a little bit today, but yet I press. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we allow our lack of being able to do things to hinder us from what we're supposed to be doing, and that's really we're supposed to just do what we're supposed to do, regardless if we suffer from an ability or a disability, a lack of an ability or a disability, because those are just minor things. Because there's different ways for us to do what we do outside of what our ability or our perceived disability is. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter. For me, it doesn't matter because it's still the thought for me still rings true. It doesn't matter whether you're able or disabled or lack of an ability or anything else. If you have a purpose and you're called to do something, you do that purpose or what you're called to do something, regardless of what your physical or emotional or mental ability says, because we're more than because we as people are more than that. We're more than just an ability or a lack of an ability or a disability. We're more than just the negative thoughts that permeate our minds and our hearts. We're more than just um, the negative actions that we may impose upon people. We're more than just the negative actions that people impose upon us.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody that's under the sound of my voice that's listening to that, if you have a purpose and an ability, if you have a purpose and a calling that you've been called to do, continue to do that, irrespective of what you feel or what it looks like, because what it looks like isn't what it is. What it looks like isn't what it is. Because this journey, this marathon of life, we're all running, and we're all looking to get to the same goal or same finish line, regardless of and I don't care how far you are in that marathon, whether you're just starting out or if you're just in the middle part or if you're coasting to the home stretch. We're all looking to get to this. We're all looking for the same finish. We want to be able to go up to the Father and the Son, and we want to hear those words, "Well done, my good and faithful servant."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But
That's a thought I want to throw out there.
the biggest part of what you said, though, Fred, is the whole thing about the lack of an ability. If you think about what you said and you go into the scripture, if you think about Moses' situation where he told the Lord, wait a minute, hold on, but I got a stutter though. I have a speech impediment. And the Lord, like, okay, but I just want you to do what I told you to do. If you do what I told you to do, I'm gonna take care of that. Every time Moses opened his mouth, nobody ever knew that he had a stuttering problem because he did not speak when he did what the Lord told him to do. So when you go into a room, if the room is meant for you and the atmosphere is conducive, won't nobody even pay attention to the lack of your ability because they won't even be able to tell that you got one. The problem is we are the issue because we are too self-conscious about whatever we lack.
Yeah,
It's
and
not the other people, it's us.
But that's what that goes back to. Fred, I don't know who this person is, but can you get them off of there?
I just dodged
Who's you got to find out who's YouTube that's coming off of.
My page is the only YouTube page. No, there's Trailblazers too. I don't know who that is, but I'm not understanding what he's talking about. But that I don't want that on there. But either way, but it goes all of that. But that goes back to what we were talking about Black women, and the fact that we are. That still goes back to the mask that we wear. It still goes back to us being us putting ourselves in a position where we are accepted by, I guess, mainstream society, I guess, and you have to include other Black women into that, because a lot of Black women have fallen into the mindset of that's how it should and supposed to be. And so how do we do what our purpose is while fighting man-made obstacles such as racism and sexism? You got a purpose. You know what your purpose is. You want to go towards your purpose, but that purpose takes you out of the comfort zone of the armor and the mask that you wear. So how do we do that? How do we break the cycle of I would do it, but it ain't. But what people gonna say? Because that's not the face they've been seeing all that time. The face they've been seeing all that time don't have nothing to do with that. Because and that's how I felt about Uppity Negro at first. Because I, as a younger child, Robert probably remembers how shy I was, but when I was younger, I was very introverted and very shy, and so being doing the takeover, and being Uppity Negro, was something that was outside of my comfort zone. It was outside of the person that I had been molded into by my circumstances and by my family life and by the self depreciation and the self hatred I had for myself. I molded myself into this very quiet, very demure, very agreeable person that would help you do whatever you needed to do. But when it was time for me to do what I wanted to do, I pushed back from it and it failed because I did not have a me to do for me what I was doing for other people. You feel me? Like I was the best cheerleader you could ever have. Yeah. Oh my God. I didn't even put my glasses on. Exactly. That's exactly right. And I just told my apostle that the other day. I told her I'm going back over the road because I feel invisible here. I feel like people walk by me, especially in church, or people or people. I just feel invisible. Wow.
Okay,
I did it, and I did it. So I did it. Why am I the one in therapy? I hate you, Robert. But I did it. I did it in such a way that I convinced myself that it was my calling to do that. You understand what I'm trying to say?
nah.
I convinced myself that it was my calling and my purpose and my duty to push everybody forward into whatever they wanted to do, and that it was just my place to be the cheerleader. It was my place. I hate you, Robert. I hate you. I do. I do not like. I'm I'm going on your wife's page. I'm telling. I'm gonna tell. Whatever. So but I did it. I think I did it in such a way that I convinced myself that it was the call on my life to make sure that I pushed everybody into their own destinies, and that whatever dreams I had were just that. They were just little clippings off of somebody else's dreams, and they weren't really mine. And wow, I had not thought about that in such a long time. And I just literally told my pastor that I feel invisible here. I feel invisible in Charleston. When I was out on the road, or when I'm in the truck, or when I'm talking on here and to other people, I feel the essence of myself. I feel alive and vibrant, and you know what the word is? I feel real. I really hate Robert.
And,
Well,
and Billy,
the word says that, a person, or, it used titles in the word, but I'm just going to say a person will not be accepted in their own home. So, my question to you is, even though you say that you've made yourself feel invisible for so long, um, don't expect to be accepted where you at.
Yeah.
It's a given. And at the end of the day, sometimes when you start to feel like that and it becomes overwhelming, that means it's time for you to change your atmosphere.
Right.
Sometimes you can overstay in a place where you were meant to leave from.
plus that's a defense mechanism for some of us.
Right.
Explain that, Fred.
For some of us, and being invisible means that, like, it for us, for I know for me, it's sometimes for me it's like I don't want to feel anything, I don't want to deal with anything, so I hide, so I hide.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a defense mechanism, because if I don't want to be seen or I don't want to be heard, it's easier for me to hide than it is to just stand there and just deal with what needs to be dealt with. And
Right.
for a lot of us, for a lot of us, and and I'm gonna throw myself into that bucket. That's that's been the norm for quite some time, because, and also it's just because of also what it's a defense mechanism as a response to what we've also been through too. Um, Emotionally, it could be something we went through emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, or whatnot. Sometimes we hide the pain that we've gone through, just by not really saying anything, or not really talking about it, or better yet, not even really dealing with it at its source. So we use that as a defense mechanism, and it's an easy defense mechanism to adapt to, because when you make yourself like as unseen, nobody really notices you, nobody really sees you, and nobody really cares. And for someone who adapts that mentality or that attitude or that defense mechanism, it's an easy thing to, like, to adapt to, and just want to stay with. uh, I'm learning now that being invisible hurts,
Mm.
because it removes you away from the things that you're trying to do, and the people that you're trying to help, and the people that you're in the destiny and the pathway that you're trying to travel on.
Exactly.
You don't want to be in that. I don't think I ever want to be invisible in any aspect ever again. Not because I don't mind being seen, but I don't want to I don't want to have to deal with all that on my own. I don't want to have to deal with all that by myself, because it's it's harder for us to deal with things on our own than it is with people that care about us and love us.
Right. I think that that's what we talked to, and we always end up coming back around to this idea of when things start going wrong, everybody, a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people um, decide that their own counsel is better than talking to somebody. That we shut ourselves off and we go into our own, and we thinking I'm thinking about it, I'm working it out, but you're not. You ping ponging back and forth. You just playing tennis. You just playing wall ball with the wall right there, and it's just bouncing around in there, and every now and then a new thought will come, and it ain't a thought of goodness. It's something that make you feel worse than you felt before you start thinking about it. And this is what I talk about all the time. We are not meant to be alone. And I'm not talking about marriage or boyfriend. I'm talking about period. You should have somebody in your life that a different person, if it has to be. I don't see nothing wrong with having 25 friends if I got 25 different facets of myself. You should have somebody in your life to deal with every facet of who you think you are. I have a different person for different things. Some of the people I have in my life they take care of multiple facets of who I am. And Robert used to be one, but he just got fired. He's fired, and he's not going to be my friend no more.
Sometimes you need people to give you the hard truth, man.
Frederick, no,
you do.
No. Frederick,
I can't.
No.
I'm not Jen for that, but I can't.
No.
Sometimes you need people to give you hard truth.
God.
You do.
So y'all this is gonna be the takeover today.
It's not, but I'm stating a cognizant. I'm stating an absolute fact. You do need people around you to give you hard truth.
You do, and usually, and all jokes aside, Cocoa, honey, flat-footed and standing still. And the thing about Robert is I've known him since high school, but he does not interject himself into my life unless it is unless it has gotten to a point where I'm just not listening to nobody, and then he'll inbox or something, and it'll whatever. But you're right. But you also have to have somebody in your life in your circle or whatever, to let you know that because we focus so much on correcting people in their wrongness that sometimes we forget to pat them on the back and give them words of encouragement and motivation in their rightness. Did I say that right? Am I?
You did.
Because we focus so much on how can I help them fix this? How can I do this with them? How can I get them to see it might do whatever? That we sometimes forget that a nice pat on the back or a you did a good job is more than enough for some people. Because we get into this friendship thing where it's a fix it mode. I'm just a fixer. But sometimes we forget to tell people that you know you actually right. You going in the right direction. Keep going that way. But and doing that, I'm teaching myself to do that without provocation. I'm teaching myself to text people or call people or just see people in the street and just let them know, you did a good job. If I see a mother in a restaurant and she doing good with it, I'll walk up to the table and say, excuse me, listen, honey, you doing that. You doing, look, these well-mannered children, girl, you doing that. And I have made many a mother cry. And I do it to men too. Because we forget that God created the earth, and all he said was, it's good. Now we got all these other words. We got awesome and stupendous and all these other things. But every now and then, all you have to just saying, you did good, is good enough. And I have a tendency, because I like talking about me because it's better that way because I know me, to still render myself invisible. Because you know why, Fred? Because it's easier. It's easier to cope with being ignored if you pretend like they just don't see you. And the problem with that is that the more I try to render myself invisible, the more I try to blend into the background, this is what I get. I have a show to do on Tuesday. Somebody wants me to speak somewhere. Somebody needs me to work. And this is what I do. And because I can't do it anymore, I am no longer able to render myself invisible. And it's hard because sometimes, most of the time, I'd rather just say I'm invisible than to really face the fact that most people just ignore me. I'm just being ignored.
Well, I'm gonna say this because I mean, again, this is coming from somebody who, excuse me, who employs that tactic. I
Shut
mean,
up, Robert.
you have to be visible. You have to make yourself visible to somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, the way I look at it now is that, you know, people can see me in all my glory, in all my glory, whether that's mad, sad, happy, glad, whatever. Some I mean, and I'm learning to be comfortable with that. You know, some people are not comfortable with being out there like that.
So
I
hold up. So that's what we no listen. That's what we was talking about before you came. Would the how would it change the world if we walked out of the door as ourselves and not with this mask on, not trying to cope, not trying to fit in? Would it really be that bad if everybody was just honestly and truly themselves?
It would. However, there are people. There are people out there, and we know them well, and we don't know them well. That would never ever accept us at face value, and
No,
or
but it's
who
not even. No, wait a minute now, because it's not even accepting us. It's accepting themselves at face value. Because
but
I'm not talking about how other people gonna feel about you being yourself. I'm talking about how you gonna feel about being yourself. Because most people can't accept who they really are. Period. Because most people, I can tell them quick and in a hurry, you're not as great as you think you are. Seriously, you're not that great. And a lot of people have put themselves on this pedestal up here, and they really still down in the muck. So the question was not about how other people were going to feel about you. How you feel about yourself. How are you going to feel about yourself if you just went out and showed who you really are? And most people can't even face who they are for real. They can't do it. Most people done lied to themselves so long they don't even know who they really are because they live in the lie. Well, let me tell you, and this ain't no shade, and if it is, oh well. My sister done told the same lies so long that she believes them. That she literally believes them. How can you convince yourself? And I don't understand it. How you convince yourself that something you made up or something somebody said and you took it around the world on another trip is the truth when you have to live with yourself? I don't understand it. We can't even face our own truth. We have a hard time facing the truth about ourselves. And people say, well, don't criticize yourself like that. Don't say, but if it's the truth, it's the truth.
but why not? Why not give yourself that hard criticism? Everybody else does.
Thank you. Because I showed and asked for it. Robert, I said it.
Well, this is the thing. If you ever watch the life of a chameleon,
Yep.
after so long, a chameleon forgets how to change its color.
Mm.
Because it's been changing its color to fit its background for so long.
Wow.
So a person that has worn a mask or pretended to be something that they are not most of their life don't know how to be them.
Okay. Case in point. Case in point. So let's go all because this is why I love this, y'all. This is why I love this show. Case in point. So let's go all the way back to where we began at. Strong black women coping with the with as Robert said, with society's idea of what a strong black woman is supposed to be. So you have been a strong black woman your entire life. And now when it's time to, when it comes to a point where you don't even know how to change to be in society the way they want you to be no more, what then do you do? Because now you don't even know how to go back to whoever you had to go back to. It's like when I had to go back to write my book, when I had to go back and to that 5-year-old body. But see, you done the red bottoms and the beat face and the weaving. You don't even know where the real you begins with the butt implants and the breast. So you have no idea who you really are anymore, because we have gotten into the society where they have told us how we're supposed to act, when we're supposed to be react. We ain't supposed to have no emotion. So then how do you get back to you? Let's go back to the beginning. So now how do you get back to you?
Well, first of all, the question is, did you ever know who you were?
Girl, you better preach.
Because sometimes, depending on what you have dealt with and the way you was brought up, you never knew who you was, because you was living somebody else's life for you.
That's the girl. Did you ever know who? Girl.
So that's the question. Did you ever know who you were?
So the question is not, can you get back to that? The question is, you didn't lose anything because there was nothing to lose, because you did not, man, listen to you.
But at the same time, I mean, it also begs the question, besides, do you know who you are prior to all this stuff going on? Are you willing to accept the person that you were prior to all that going on?
Oh,
right. But it goes back to what I just said. How can you accept what you don't know?
That's true.
You can't accept what you don't know.
That's
because
true.
the issue then is, you were exactly who your mama wanted you to be.
Right.
And or you were exactly the daughter your daddy wanted you to be.
Right. A lot of people raise their children, especially people who had children at young ages. They raised their children to live the life they wanted to live. They did not get an opportunity to live.
Say so.
Huh.
Because I can tell you, coming up, a lot of my friends, they wanted to go to college for one thing, but their parents said, no, in order for me to pay for it, this is what you got to go for. So you're forcing somebody to go into something that they don't want to do, is what you want, not what they want. But all your whole entire life, have you actually lived a life that was yours, or did you live a life that was planned out for you?
Most of us have lived lives that have been planned out.
Yeah.
There you go.
To please others. But let me tell you, this is the thing. This is the thing that I talk about with Anton all the time. This love and love-hate relationship that we have, that some children have with their parents. Because you love them because they're your parents, and you love them and you want to make them proud. But then there's this other side of that coin where you just despise them because they have nipped you in mid-growth, and they are determined you're going to grow the way they want you to grow, and not the way that you feel the naturalness of how you want to grow up.
That's true.
That is crazy. That is just crazy.
But that is true. But also looking at the converse of that, you also look at it from the aspect of, again, you mentioned, folks living vicariously through others. You know, that's what some of us as parents do. That's what some of us as parents do. We impose our own hopes and dreams, or our failed hopes and dreams on others, in the hope that they'll be able to fulfill that. And then we criticize, and we make folks feel bad when they don't do it.
Right. And nobody can make you feel as bad as a parent, because they know you better than anybody. Can't nobody put guilt on you like a parent.
Of course not. Of course.
Or a sibling, because they have honed their skills in that department.
Of course. But again, it still goes, but like kind of goes back to what Coco said earlier. But also, just to even add to that, you know, the other question becomes apparent now, because what are you willing to do to get to know yourself again?
That's work.
What are you willing to do? What are you willing to risk to get to know yourself again?
Because and that's both of those questions are hard questions, because there is a risk. There is a risk that you becoming who you're supposed to be, and you becoming the person that you're supposed to be. The risk of that is losing everybody else. The risk of that is lose, and I'm telling you from experience, the risk of being who you're supposed to be and walking in your true calling, your true purpose, not the one the prophet prophesied from New York and you knew he was lying and you fell out anyway, not that one. The real purpose of your life, your real calling, and the risk of that is losing everybody.
Well,
and if you say you following your calling and you don't, and not one of your friends drop off, check yourself. Check yourself, because jealousy is real.
But the biggest key to what you said, Bobby, though, is you say losing everybody. First of all, if when you pretending you felt like you had everybody, you had nobody anyway.
Yeah.
You already didn't have nobody. So when you start to become who you are, if you still ain't got nobody, it's a win-win situation. Because at the end of the day, first of all, I wouldn't, if I'm starting to know who I am and I'm now gaining confidence in who I am, I don't want no fake and phony people around me.
But this is the thing. If you have all of those people around you in the bubble that you've created of your fake purpose, then wouldn't it be feasible to say that you have fooled yourself into thinking that those people really had your back?
Oh yeah.
Because I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is this: in reality, the reality is you really didn't have anybody. But
right,
the pedestal that them niggas put you on made you feel like you had somebody, and you faked your way through that. And you, like I said, some people can lie to themselves so good.
Right. But the whole point is somebody put you on a pedestal because they was using you. You were a benefit to somebody.
Right. Okay.
That's all that you were.
Yeah.
Let's be real about it. You was a benefit to somebody. And then once you started realizing, hold on, wait a minute. You only around me because I can do this. When I can't do it, I don't see you. You act
and then
like
all of a sudden, oh, you done changed.
That's it.
No, I didn't change. I found out that I could put up boundaries if I wanted to. That's what you mad at. You mad because I just realized that I didn't have no boundaries. You know what? I'll tell, like I said last week, what happened is I just realized that this is my gate and I can close it or lock it or open it when I want to. That's why you mad. You mad because I put a fence around what you had access to before, and now you don't have free access. Give me my key card back, give me my lock back, and let me close my gate. I'll invite you back in if I find you I can't think of the word because I was about to go off. God told me to hush.
But that's the whole point. First of all, everybody should not have ultimate untapped access to you. If you give everybody
Exactly.
untapped access to you, there's a problem.
Exactly. And I think people who have, I think, and I was like this. This is exactly what Robert was saying earlier. Thank you. That's the word, Simone. I thought that it was my duty as a Christian to always have people. To always have people, to always be accessible to people. I thought that it was my duty as a good Christian to always be open to whatever they needed or whatever help I could give and all of that. And then I realized that I was the only one working that hard.
That's it.
You feel me? And that when it was time for me to do what I needed to do and open up all of this other stuff and do and fulfill my calling, where my cheerleaders at?
Right.
Now, how you can't be tired of being a cheerleader, because I was doing the cheering before, and so people get upset with you, and let's go back to the topic at hand.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason why you cannot be a strong Black woman and still yell and cry and be vulnerable and be soft and all of those things, because if we're the carriers and we're the ones that are the most and we are the ones that Robert said something. He said a word, I can't remember what it is, but we are the ones that are the ones that nurture, and we the ones that carry, and we the ones the multitaskers. We were built to multitask. Then I can multitask my way out of being exactly what you want me to be and just being me. Because people say, well, children, listen, children love boundaries. You know why? Because it means that you love them. And so I'm going to show you the boundaries of my property, which is myself, just to show you how much I love you. I love you enough to have a fence around what I think is valuable to me. And that's what we have to get to. We have to get to the point where we're not being negative about the fences. We're not being negative about being who we are. We're not being negative and apologizing and apologetic about who we say we are. It's a positive thing. I love you enough to give you boundaries. Because what you're about to do is you're going to step off a piece of this property that I got right, and it's a cliff. And I'm not going to be able to save you. So I love you enough to give you boundaries. I love you enough to give you to give you enough of me where it'll help you, but it'll also benefit me. Because, and I tell people this all the time. One of my friends asked me this once when he was in the truck, and I had another friend, and he's and one day when I was complaining about the other guy, he was like, "Wait a minute, what do you get out of this relationship?" And it threw me off because I didn't have no answer. He said, "What do you get out of your relationship with this other truck driver?" And I'm just talking about friends now. Don't everybody calm down in the room. And he asked me, and I did not have an answer. He said, "So you did," and he went down the list of, so the other day you did this, and this, and then you called this person, then you helped him fix this, then you typed up something, you did all of that. So what you get out of all this relationship? No answer. Birds chirping.
Nothing but a headache.
Because he was benefiting from me, and I benefited nothing from this friendship except being tired. And that's how we have to start thinking about friends and hell, family too.
Right, but you know that that's actually the first. You know that that's actually the first question that a mentor asks you when you come up under mentorship. What is your goal, and what do you plan to gain from the relationship of the mentor and the mentee?
Yeah.
And then if you actually stop and ask yourself, and you begin to ask your friends, once you start becoming friends with people, if you ask them, "Can I trust you? Can I trust me with you?" Wait for the answer. I bet you won't get one. If they come flat out and say, "Yeah," I don't even know you like that yet, right? So really, can I trust me with you? And when I say that, can I trust all of who I am with you?
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? The other thing about that is this: it's understanding that, and this goes for men, this goes for women and men too. So, but this is good. This is more specifically to the topic that we're talking about as well. Realizing as you change as a woman, as you change as a woman, as you change as a man, you realize that not everybody can go with you on this journey you going with. So you gonna have to
Oh,
cut some people off and let them fall off, to the wayside, let them branches fall because you're going on a journey and you trying to grow and spread and grow like a tree grows, and like a tree sheds leaves and sheds branches. Those leaves shed for a reason, those branches fall for a reason, because those branches are no longer compatible with the tree, or no longer able to help sustain the tree. So you realize that nobody, everybody can't go with you on your journey. And and again, I've said this on more than one occasion, and I'll say it again. People will ride in your vehicle with you until they get to a specific destination, and then they'll get off.
right,
Everybody ain't meant to ride with you.
right, right.
Right, but that's what a cab driver does. I pick you up and I
Exactly.
drop you off. It's not my job to keep you.
Nope.
I'm just here to get you from the pickup point to your destination.
That's it.
And it's
And
But
like that with friends. First of all, we have to realize that everybody that's around you are not lifelong individuals.
mm,
Everybody, and I don't care what position they hold in your life, everybody comes along to teach you something. And it's whatever you gonna glean at that time, and they gotta go. Not everybody is meant to stay. Some people are, some people are not. But the question is, what are you getting while they're around? Are you getting anything from them?
exactly.
That's
Exactly.
that's the whole question. Are you
exactly,
getting
Simone.
anything from them?
But I
That's
think
it.
I think the problem.
I can say yeah.
I think the problem with being human um, is that we. It is very hard for us to let go of anything. It is. It is hard for us to sometimes comprehend the real idea, the real fact that this nothing in this life is permanent. Um, it is just like coping with death. It's not. You don't think about the ending of anything, whether it be life or friendship or work or anything. That the ending of a thing is not a permeating thought with people. It's just not, because that I guess that's just a human thing. And so sometimes because we don't think about the ending of things all the time, or that is in the back of our minds, or any of that, the loss of certain things is very hard for us to comprehend. It really is. And whether that thing be, like I said, whether it be in death, or whether it be a job, or whether it be a friend walking away, or anything like that, losing an apartment or your childhood home, it is the ending of a thing. Uh, um, is it's devastating. Sometimes it's not as bad as the word devastating, but but in the loss of that thing, you it makes you turn on a different path in your life. It makes you, whether you're ready for it or not. The loss of anything turns your life toward a different trajectory, because the loss of that thing there, like I told a beautiful friend of mine today, the loss of a thing puts a void in your life of that thing. And some things that you lose, you cannot fill that void. And I think because it is like that, and because we know this subconsciously, I think that it is very hard for us to let go of things. It's very hard for us to let go of friends, even if they're toxic. It's very hard for us to just walk away from a family member, even if they're toxic. It's very hard for us to just cut people off per se, or walk away from certain things. Now, some people say they do it easily, but in my humanness and me thinking that you're not more superhuman than me, on some level it bothers you, because ain't nobody that hard and emotionalist and nobody. I don't care how much you done been hurt. Your heart is not as hard, ain't that hard. Why? I can say that because God created it, and He didn't create it to be hard like that. But to some people, it's easier. It's easier for them to let certain things go and just walk away from it and don't look back. But then you have certain people who have sympathy and empathy, and they have been through so much and lost so much. They don't want to lose nothing else. They don't want to lose nothing else, no matter how toxic it is. And so we have to put that on the shelf of what we're talking about, because you can cut people off and move on and leave and you can do all these things. Go for it. But it's not guaranteed it's going to get you where you need to be. And sometimes, on rare occasions, we cut people off that shouldn't be cut off. We end things that should not be ended. Because we do it because not because they're toxic, but because they're being in your life is forcing you to be who you're supposed to be.
Yep.
And I'm talking from experience. Sometimes I've cut people off just because I'm tired of them trying to push me to somewhere where I know I'm supposed to go at. I don't want to go. I don't want to be a better person. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to do that. And so I'll cut people off who have done nothing for me to cut them off. So if we're going to talk about one side of it, let's talk about the other side. Let's talk about you, the toxic person, and you cutting folks off left and right because they're trying to make you be a better person. They're trying to get you out the strip club. They're trying to get you to watch your children a little bit better. They're trying to let you know that nigga is not the right nigga. They're trying to tell you that job ain't for you because them people you're not supposed to cry every time you get off your job. And so we cut people off sometimes because we don't want to go into the places that we're supposed to go into. We don't want to be propelled into our purpose. Because why? Because we don't want to do the work. I don't want you to come and play with me because you act like my personal trainer. I don't want to take the stairs. I want to take the elevator. Now you done cut this heifer off because she always taking the stairs and you won't take the elevator. And it sounds simple, but it's just that simple. People have cut me off for no reason except that I have been the one to try to cheerlead and push them into a place where I know God wanted them to go. And that was my job to do so. And I have also cut people off. I don't want to do it. I sure did it to Trailblazers when I didn't want to do it. When I realized that Trailblazers was going to be a format that put me out, first of all, in the spotlight, first of all, because I thought, and I'll tell you the truth, I thought it was just a little joke. I thought it was just a little parquet. Anybody doing it? And I was just playing around at first. Coco will tell you, I wasn't committed to nothing. And when it got to the point where it started getting real, and people was coming on here and people was calling me to do events and stuff. Oh, hell no. This not what I signed up for. I signed up to play on this thing for a little while and go home. You know what I did to Trailblazers? I cut their ass off. Cut them off. I didn't talk to I blocked everybody. I blocked them off my phone. I blocked them off my computer. I blocked everybody on Trailblazers. And so if we're going to be real about it, let's be real about who we are. Because we do cut people off whose job it is to propel us into greatness. Yep. And we don't want to put in the work. Because, honey, this is work. And so I am very careful about telling people, giving the advice of cutting people off. because some people, especially if you don't know who they're talking about and what they're going through, leave that particular advice for another time till you get to know who these people talking about.
That's right.
Because some of these people just want you to agree with them, to cut these people off because they want to be right, and they dead wrong. Because that girl is not bothering you. She ain't doing nothing but trying to push you and your children to greater. She said, go ahead and do college. I'll help you watch your children. She said it for a reason. Now you won't cut her off. You ain't telling us the good stuff, the bad. Hey, Tara, you ain't telling, you're not telling us the good stuff she telling you to do. All you talking about is, every time I see her, she be drinking Stella Rosa. But what she talking about during Stella Rosa time? College. Your children homework. Your house need to be cleaned up. Because cleanliness is next to godliness.
Right.
And so be real. And we going right back to the beginning of what we was talking about. You keep on pretending that you somebody else, and you keep on putting on a mask and armor just to walk out the door to go to a job that you know you hate. Now you're going to die. And you have never fulfilled anything. You never done anything that you wanted to do. What a waste of life. Or you get like me, and you get an illness that now you got to stay close to home because you can't go nowhere. What a waste of time. You don't want to be with him because he lived with his mama. But he's everything that you need. But he lived with his mama, and you don't want your friends to talk trash. You the only friend ain't got no boyfriend because you waiting on to get somebody like their boyfriends. Not knowing that nigga beat her at night. Not knowing that all he do is cheat on her. Not knowing that all he do is play video games. And so now you going.
Hey, I like video games. Stop that.
You hush up over that video head. Now you can't deal with now you sitting up and you ain't got no man because you can't be with him, even though he touches he check off every box. But you can't be with him because you don't want your friends to. What a waste of life. What a waste of life to go to a job for 8, 9, 10 hours a day and you freaking hate it. What a waste of your time and God's. What a waste of a prayer life. Because every time you ask God to do better and he do something on that job to make you want to leave, you end up right back in there Monday morning because you too scared to step out. Or you too scared your friend's gonna say, girl, I wouldn't have quit well, that's you. As a little TikTok, they got a new little TikTok thing. That's you. As for me, I'm about to do what I gotta do. And so we're back at the beginning again, which is why I love doing these shows, because we can go all around the Atlantic Ocean and still end up back here. And this is where we are. We're getting ready to end this. You better be you. You better do it unapologetically. And if it's being black, you better do that unapologetically too. We talk with our head moving. We talk with our hands. We are very expressive. Black folks are passionate about everything, including raisins in the potato salad. We're passionate.
Nasty.
Wow.
Exactly. We're passionate. And when we are passionate about something we're saying, we use our entire body to say so. If it's funny, we're going to get up and run around the room. If it ain't funny, we're going to look at you and tell you ain't funny. But I will tell you this, the thing that's wrong with black folks is all these family secrets. Now, we'll talk about that. I think that's going to be next week's show. Because these family secrets is killing the black family.
Yep.
It is killing the black family. That and this strong black woman thing. So let's stay in. This will be a chapter for this right here. Family secrets are killing the black family. The idea that you don't tell nobody what's going on in this house is killing us. And the pandemic revealed more than just the fact that you can't cook and your house nasty.
Trauma, trauma, trauma.
So be you. What you gonna die? What you gonna live this? You ain't got but one.
That's
You're gonna
it.
live your entire life, 85 years, and you always wanted to go to Maine and eat lobster, and you didn't do it because you had other obligations. Honey, them children been grown. Planes fly to Maine all the time. You didn't want to do it because you didn't know what everybody else was gonna say. Hell, I didn't know what everybody was gonna say when I started driving truck. I knew what they were gonna say. Girl, Barbara? No. Because I had never had the desire to drive a truck until I got behind the wheel of one and realized I could do this. And so we have to, and I say that, and I say this to myself and you, step out on it. The only thing you can do is fail or succeed. And if you fail, get up, dust yourself off, put on another outfit, and try something else. Go another avenue. Because it is no need for you to waste your life walking around here coping and wearing this armor so that society can accept you. Because I tell you exactly what Robert said, 2 strikes, you black and you a woman. So you already got 2 strikes. You might as well do 3 and going back into the little dugout thing and continue to write your vision and make it plain. That's my motto. Because you're not going to that song that said if you take 1 step, God will take 2. That may be so, but the issue is not the step. The issue is how far you gonna reach for the step. You taking baby steps or you ready to take grown folk steps? Because it don't matter what steps you take or how many. It's determined by what kind of strides you gonna use. How you gonna stride out of here? You're going to be taking these little tiny baby steps. It's going to take you 15 years to do what you need to do. Or you're going to take these steps saying, when I take this step, the ground going to be solid as far as my leg can go. I'm going to goose step my way across this. It is no need to waste your life worrying about what other folks going to say, how other folks going to react, because no matter what, somebody ain't going to like it and somebody is.
Right.
Choose, make your choice. You want the green pill or the blue pill, nigga? Choose which one you're gonna do today. Because it's not gonna matter what you do, good or bad. They gonna talk. Jesus healed people. They talked about that. The people who got missed or didn't get troubled by the pool, they talk trash about them too.
They talk trash about everything you did.
It don't matter.
Good or bad.
They're gonna talk trash or they gonna praise. And either one of those discussions, whether it's trash talking or praise discussion, ain't gonna affect you none because you doing you.
Right.
And so we come to the part of all this strong black. You can be a strong black woman all you want to, but I promise you, listen, you can be a strong black woman all you want to, but be you. Show your emotions. Show you can be angry. You listen, who cares if I don't care if they call me the angry black woman. I don't, because sometimes I am. But I'm also gentle, I'm caring, I'm loving, I'm kind, I'm a giver, I'm empathetic, I'm sympathetic, and I know how to make the best sweet potato pie on this side of the Mason-Dixon line. And so with all of that said, that's all still me. And I don't have to conform to anybody's. I don't have to conform to anybody's idea of who I'm supposed to be. Nobody's. Women weren't supposed to drive trucks. You ain't supposed to have no nails. Be you. Don't wear no lashes. Take those things out your eye. You like a pit bull. If I look like a pit bull, I bet you better not put your hand over here because I'll bite the shit out you. Now pit bull at. We have become a society of conformists.
Yep.
And if you don't stop conforming to everything that people say you're supposed to conform to and contorting your body into all kind of foolishness, you're going to lose yourself. And the worst thing to do is to lose yourself. You know why? Because late in the midnight hour, as Fred Hammond says, what God going to turn around?
Mm-hmm.
He don't have nothing to do. He don't have nothing to turn around because you took it into your own hands to do whatever you decided you was going to do. So late in the midnight hour, you in the bed with a stranger and ain't nobody else in the room.
And this is the thing too. I realized that tonight the word coping has been used a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But you know that the meaning of cope means that you deal with it effectively.
Right. The
right?
real meaning of cope.
The real
Exactly.
meaning.
But the coping that I think Robert was talking about is the ineffective kind. Because being a strong Black woman in the sense of how it's being defined today,
yeah,
it's not you're not coping with anything. You're not being effective in your coping because you lying to yourself and you lying to your coworkers, you lying to your husband, you lying to your children. Because that's not even who you are. You're not the one that always have dinner and everything always together. And then when it don't go right, you lose your mind.
Right.
Because the perfection that you put out there just showed a crack in the armor.
Come on now.
And so now that idea of perfection, you done lied to yourself into thinking that you perfect. So when the bubble burst or there's a little chink in the armor, that's why when people say you acted inappropriately, you shouldn't have been that mad. No, you're not mad at that. You mad because somebody saw through the bull crap. You mad because you realize you still human and you not superhuman. And sometimes that's the most hurtful thing, ain't it? I'm human. I hurt, I bleed, I cry, but you don't want to do that because society says you should be quiet and you should be seen and not heard. Because Black people are y'all too loud because you ghetto. I live in the hood. I'm ghetto. I don't know what you want me to do. This is how I talk. This is how I communicate. This is what I do. And I'm not going to, and I don't, and this is the thing about people, the lady on my, I don't conform to nobody. I don't change how I talk. I don't change what I pronounce. I don't change the connotation. I don't change the pitch. I don't change anything about how I talk. I talk to everybody the same exact way. And if I have to explain something to you because it's too ethnic, I'll explain it to you. Every time I tell people, I make that joke about being Uncle Peaches, I have to explain to crackers. I have to explain to white people. Sorry, I say crackers because I say niggas. It's the same thing. I have to explain it to white people. I have to explain to white people what I mean by Uncle Peaches. Because they don't have Uncle Peaches in their family. They call their gay people something else. Hell, Tyrone, I don't know. But I don't change. I don't conform. I don't do that no more. You know what changing, we know what conforming got me? It got me holding in a molestation until I was 18 years old. It got me holding in the fact that I was raped and thrown out of a car until I was 21. That's what conforming does. Conforming makes you hold secrets that should be told. Conforming makes you hold on to emotions and thoughts and feelings that you need to open up and let somebody come in and scrape some of that off you. You know what you need to have? You need to have a spiritual DNC.
A detox.
That's what you need. You need to have a spiritual scraping and cleaning of all of that stuff that you holding on to, that your mama or your daddy or your brother, or you need to let it go, sis and bruh.
Yeah.
And you don't, and when you do this, you are not to be alone. Because the worst thing to do when you having a detox, when you alone, and we talking about spiritual cleansing. We're not talking for your body, because if you doing the detox of your body, you need to be alone in that bathroom. That's you and you alone, and Jesus might stop by. But when you do a spiritual cleanse, you can't be by yourself, because this is what we do. We do it every time we pray. Not every time, but we do it when we pray. You get on there, you let it go and whatever, and then as soon as you get up, you turn around and you grab a little piece of it. I ain't finished thinking about this yet. And that's why when you do a spiritual detox or cleanse, you shouldn't be by yourself. Because you need somebody there that's going to sweep it up and take it away, and you don't get to take none of these pieces with you. And every time you think you finish, they push you back on the floor and say, no, leave all of it.
Yep.
Those are the kind of friends you're supposed to have. Those are the people that you should be hanging out with. And so I said all of that, and we're gonna go. I'm gonna read this because it's up here, and I'm pretty sure Coco or Fred did it. Cocoa. Thank you all for tuning in. Continue to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Please follow each of the hosts on their respective social media platforms. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and anywhere you get your audio podcasts. So please like, and if you're on thank you, darling. If you're on YouTube right now, please
That was
like.
me.
Oh, thank you, baby. I love you. Please like, share, and subscribe, which is something I got to keep remembering to say. I also have to remember to say, don't forget to buy some of my, how them young people say it, my merch, my Uppity Negro merch. Coco wants the pair. I have tennis shoes with Uppity Negro on it. Coco want them tennis shoes. I want me a pair too.
Right.
Yeah. You can just about any accessory that you have. I even have Uppity Negro tote bags, which are, I wish I could find my other one, but I can't. It's in storage. But the quality of the work that this young lady does for me is awesome. And so, yeah, that's what we are. I love all of y'all. I love my Tuesdays, and the people that come on. Invite your friends to come on. Invite them to come in to the conversation. Robert is blocked for a month. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Robert Ellington is blocked for a month. He cannot come on here for a month.
And let me say this, y'all, while I have Bobby and Fred on the screen. Okay, so shameless plug for the both of them. Bobby has merch. Fred has 1,000 books that he has written. Okay, so this is what I'm saying to y'all. One, it don't cost you nothing to share somebody else's stuff, right? So I'm just talking to y'all about the support factor real quick. It don't cost you nothing to share somebody else's stuff, right? So I'm asking y'all to just share. You don't have to just share and subscribe. It's just a button. Just push it. That's it. If everybody supported everybody else, everybody could be paid through YouTube, Patreon, and all this other stuff. Because everybody on Facebook has 2,000 to 3,000 friends.
Right.
If everybody shared each other's stuff, would nobody have any issues? So I'm just saying, for us as lovely people, as I like to call us, to get together and start supporting each other better, right? So as y'all notice that on my shows, on Mondays and Thursday nights, I always talk about Bobby and Fred's shows. I may not know the title of what they're talking about on the night of their shows, but I mention it so that you guys can come on and watch whatever they're doing on their night. So that's all you got to do. Share, tell somebody else about it. Hit a button. That's it. So I'm asking y'all to learn how to support each other. Do better. We got to do better on for one another. All right?
Yep. Agreed. I totally agree. And so, I think I said everything I had to say. I don't want to add or retract from that. My legs are starting to, driving that stick shift is kicking my butt. Yeah, my knees are starting to sing right now. Yeah, honey. But I really do hope and pray that these shows, bless you, that these shows are helping somebody, and it's not just people looking and watching me rant, because that's not what I want. I don't want to be. I don't want to preach at people. I want to be transparent, and I want to be as real as I can, because I want you to know that it don't hurt. It don't hurt. Yeah, I cry sometimes or whatever, but it's not out of pain. Sometimes it's out of release, and sometimes it's because I feel I just feel God's presence sometimes, and that's how I express that. Again, I know I embarrass him all the time. The honor of having Mr. Ellington and I joke a lot with him. We've been joking with each other since high school. We were really bad. I just can't do it now because I'm scared of his sister. But the honor of having and I'm going to say it in this context, the honor of having a person, a scholar like him on my show to keep everything even, and the honor of that is beyond the words that I can say, because I love this young man. He's a part of my life that I do not want to let go of. I am honored to have the owner and the engineer of Trailblazers on my show. He may not think that he is up there on the list, but he is. He created this platform, and I am honored that he would come to my little show to show support to me. I'm always honored. I'm always honored when I have Kakoa on here, because she just keeps the spiritual aspect of everything going. She has taken the place of oh God, I can't cry. The place of another person. Yeah. And just slid into that particular role so smoothly. Quint came tonight, and I'm honored that she's probably at work and she spent a few minutes, and I'm honored for that. I'm just honored to know everybody that's on here. Simone, thank you so much for your input. I enjoy you being on here. My friend from high school, Tara, thank you. It is just a small enough group where I can name everybody. But we are hoping and praying that one day it will be so many people on here that we won't be able to name everybody.
Right.
That is our fervent prayer, and that is our goal. Our goal is to reach so many people that we won't have room enough to name everybody. But because we have the room to name everybody, I just did. So thank you very much. I do believe that that's what's God going to lead me next week, because it's going to piggyback off of this one. And I think we are going to talk about family secrets. Family secrets and the Black family, honey, is killing us. It's killing us. It really is, especially with these pedophiles in these families, and these abusive and people that we have in our family. I'm not talking about physical. I'm talking about things that come out people's mouth, and it's been said so long that we don't even realize that it really hurts when you keep calling that child stupid. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. I have a thing for children, and it just to see someone, I can't. But I love you. This was a beautiful, beautiful show. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for participating in the discussion. And we out of here. We out of here. I love y'all very, very much, as they say. I love y'all, and I want y'all to have a good night. So I'm trying to end this in a professional way, but this thing won't let me be. Oh, here it is. Love y'all. So good night, everybody. Good night.
Join Bobby for the takeover every Tuesday night as she tackles tough subjects with her trademark humor and wit. We guarantee you'll be educated, edified, and also entertained. So join us at 8 p.m. every Tuesday night right here on Trailblazers Radio.